today we're going to be doing a little Easter bunny. So it's right before Easter, and I haven't had a chance to do this yet, so I thought it would be a lot of fun to show you how to do this. So I'm going to pan down and we'll get started. Okay, so this is a super simple project to do, and what I did is I went out and got one of these little Easter bunny forms. Now, you could also just use 2 grapevine wreaths and then get some extra and then just make the little ears. I also have some of this cute little, you see this? I'm not really sure what this is called, but it's really cute. Then I have some cute little picks. I have these cute little ones with the little eggs in it. And I have this one. Of course, this is what I used to do my centerpiece for the mantelpiece. So what I'm going to do is get my glue gun started. I am going to make a nice bow to put right here, and then we're going to cut some of this up. I have a little bit cut, and what you do is you just put it right in, just like you would when you're doing a grapevine wreath. Okay? You just kind of go around. I have pink and green. I have some blue. And I have yellow. So I will mix all these colors together. And so I will cut these off. And then I will start placing them in. And the great thing about these is they are wired, so you can kind of bend it to go along with the bunny. So we can go ahead and do our little bow. Okay. So I have 1 2.5 inch, and it is the pink with the eggs. And then I have several 1.5 inch. Now, I don't know if I'll use all of these, but I definitely will use this. This is going to be, and I'm going to do this by hand. So we're going to start with a 4 inch on the bottom. So I've just made a loop. I have a little excess in the middle. So when I get to the middle, I want to twist it. And the reason I'm doing that is to get that pretty side back up. If you don't, you'll end up with the underside of the bow, and that's not what you want. Okay? So I'm just going to make a few loops like that. I'm going to trim this off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pipe cleaner, and I'm just going to tie this pipe cleaner around it, and we're going to set it down while we start on the next part of the bow. Just makes it a little bit easier than trying to hold it in your hand. Okay. So I'm going to make another 4 inch loop. Make sure they match. Yep. So we're going to do the same thing here. We're going to do 2. So make sure when you get back to the center that you twist it around again and get that pretty side out. Okay. And I'll trim it off. This. Now, there's a couple ways you could do this. You can do it like I'm doing. You can use the Bodabra. So either way is fine. I'm just going to open this tie up. And I'm going to set this on top of this one. And I'm going to close it back up. I just wanted to show you that if you do not have a Bodabra, you can still do this in pieces. Okay? Now, this is also great if you don't have a whole lot of ribbon, because what we're doing is we're just using a little bit of each ribbon. So this one, I'm going to do about 3 inches, so about right here. So same thing, just make my loop, pinch it in the middle. Okay. Now this one's the same on both sides, so if you don't want to do the twist, that's fine. You don't have to. I just do it because it's a little bit easier to make them meet in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to open this back up. Put this one down. Close it back up. Alright. We'll do a little yellow. So I'm going to do the yellow at 3 inches as well. Okay. And I always leave a little excess in the back. Okay. So same thing, I'm going to do 2 loops. Okay. There we go. Trim this off. I'm done with this one. So once again, I'm just going to go back, open this up, place this down, and close it back up again. So I want to do one more ribbon. We are going to use all. Alright. So this ribbon, I am going to start with a little loop. So I just made a little loop. That's going to be our center loop. And we're going to do about 3 inches. There we go. Let's make this a little bit smaller. There we go. Okay. Right. So we're just doing the same thing. Making our 2 3-inch loops. It's not necessary to do this middle loop. I just like to have those. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to get some wire. This is 26 gauge. Okay, now I'm going to cut about 26 inches. Okay, I'm going to slide this right through that center piece. I'm going to find the middle here. Then I'm going to open this back up. I want to make sure that I put this in between that wire. And then I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to go around the entire bow. Okay? So I'm going to make sure it's really tight. So what you can do is hold the wire together and turn the bow. That helps keep it nice and tight. Okay. Move this stuff. Alright. So then we can take our bow and I'm going to tie the bow all the way around the form. But I'm going to pull it over here to the side, over here, and I'm going to make sure that this is tied on nice and tight. Okay. Now I can start moving my bow apart. So the reason that I use the 1.5 inches is because I don't want this bow to be overwhelming on this bunny. So I don't want it to eclipse the bunny. I still want to be able to see the bunny. So I used more delicate, smaller ribbon. So you see, you can see a little bit of our pattern, our larger one in the back, with a little splash of colors to tie it in. See, there we go. So now we have a cute little bow, but it is not taking over our bunny. So now we've got our little bow, and you can put tails or not. It's really up to you. I'm not, but it's perfectly fine. You could just take one, make a little tail, or you could do them all. That's really just perfectly up to you. Okay. Now we can see if our glue gun is ready and start getting some of these in. Okay. These came from the Christmas tree shop, and they usually have them out for the majority of the spring, so you should still be able to get some of this. Okay, here we go. Alright, so like the ribbon, we don't want to completely overwhelm our little bunny here. So, I also have some of this. So see, this has purple and pink. So we might want to cut off a little bit of this, for sure, the purple, since we don't have really any purple. You can also use some of the flowers. I like the look of these little flowers. They look delicate. Okay. can get some more off here. Alright, so what you'll do is you'll just take your little pieces here and just put a little glue on it. You don't need a ton. And you just kind of thread it right in. And then have it going in the direction with your bunny. Okay? Do the same thing with little flowers. You don't need a ton of this, you just want some. So I like to pull these apart. Okay. You could use one color. I like to use multiple colors. I just think it looks a little cuter. But that is strictly up to you. You don't need a lot to glue in. There we go. So see, I'm just gluing it in and then kind of having it go in the direction that our bunny's going in. Okay. Doesn't really matter where you stop or start as long as you continue to go in the same direction. Okay. I also like to take a pick. So this one has several different little things coming and going in it. So I'll cut a few of these off. And what I like to do with this is I like to have some things coming out of my bow. So just put some things so that they're kind of coming out around the bow. So, yeah. You could even put some in between your bow. Okay. Put little flowers in there. This is really strictly up to you as to how much you want to add or not. Okay. Alright. So you see how it kind of starts making the bow a part of what you're doing? It really does help. So we have a little bit more we can add around our bow. You don't need to see the whole thing. You can just see little hints of it. See, like this. There's a little hint of that there. Okay. Let's put one. We'll see if that's going to be long enough. Yeah. Okay. I've seen these bunny forms at Hobby Lobby as well if you're looking for them. Everything should be on sale right now because it is that time of year. I like to get things often right before the holiday because the price is just so great at that time. And then even if you don't get a chance to use it this year, if you have a little space to store things, then you can keep it for your projects for next year. Which is why you sometimes see me using things that were out from the prior year. So, okay. So we'll just keep adding all the way around. Okay. This is another one where you can add as much or as little as you'd like. You can add quite a bit in, or you can just add a little. Okay. These are very much like Grapevine wreaths, so they're pretty easy to work with. Okay. I like these little bead things. They're very delicate looking. You can put some on the inside. You can also use a glue pot or also use a glue pot or an electric skillet if you don't want to use your glue gun. I find that I don't need a ton of glue for this, so I just usually use my glue gun. So, and what I do is I just kind of load it in until I feel like I have a good amount. And then I go on to the next section. Okay. Okay. Put a little bit right over here. So once you get all this on the bottom, then you can decide if you want to do the same thing on the top. You don't have to, you can. It's really just a matter of whether you want more or just a little. There we go. See, and that's what it looks like. So you can just kind of move them, make sure they're all going in the same direction. Like this. So I don't want it to be too close to the bunny, because part of what the fun is having it kind of stand out. Okay, so I do like to add some to the top, but I'm not going to add a ton. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make them a little smaller. So especially around the ears, I just like to make them about an inch or so. Okay. That way it gives it a little color, but it's not overpowering. So you see, you don't need a ton of this. I just like to put some up here because otherwise the head will kind of get lost. So we don't want the bottom to have all the fun parties. Okay. So it's the same thing, you just put a little glue on it, put it in. I still want to go the same direction. Just kind of gives it movement if you keep it going in the same direction. Okay. Glue stick. Okay. Put some glue up there. And this does work a lot better if you have ones that are wired. Just allows you to kind of move them around and get them secured in. Okay. yellow. See, we didn't need to cut that much. So this is how we're looking so far. See, isn't that cute? Okay, so if you end up with a bunch of glue strings on your projects, run your hair dryer across it and all those little strings will disappear. It's wonderful. Because it is a pain to try to go back and find those. It's much better just to get your hair dryer out and let it do the work. So you don't need to add a ton of this to make it stand out. You just need a little pretty color here and there. There we go. It really does not take very much of these to do one. So if you wanted to save a little money, you could just do one color. And then you would just need one of these. Okay. So we're going to get a little bit more purple. See how it adds just a little tiny touch of color and delicacy to your bunny. So just a little bit more blue. Okay. Okay. So we have just a little bit more on our ears and then we'll be done. Have a little bit more purple. Okay. A little bit pink. one more piece and we'll be done. Let's do a little yellow. Okay. Then what I do is I just kind of stand back and look at it and see if I see any obvious areas that I need to add something. I don't think so. So there it is. It's a quick, easy little project to do for Easter. Now you could do this with any season really, but I love to do things like this, so this is going to be going down in our kitchen. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought. And I have several easy, quick projects to do coming up, so let me know if there's something that you've seen recently that you would like me to do. And I will see you soon. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.